Hello everyone, this is Tim with Paintball Tek. I've got a video for you guys today, rebuild video of a Palmer's Micro Rock LPR. This is the current generation of rock regulator that Palmer's makes for autocockers amongst other things. Normally the rock bodies are smooth all the way across. This one's got a couple little extra milling embellishments on the front, but other than that, it's exactly the same as every other micro rock. So I'm going to show you how to take this apart, replace all the seals, oil it, rebuild it, and get it going for your next build project. So to begin with, I'm going to start by taking out the front adjustment screw here. This is just a standard 3/16 Allen wrench. Or if you have the rock knob on there, it's just a thumb knob. You just unscrew it by hand. Now we're going to get into the rest of the body. It's a three-piece design. So there's the main body here, the reg head, which has the reg seat in it, which is this thin piece in the back that goes inside the body, and the male pipe fitting that's modified for the back end here. That this piece screws onto your front block on an autococker. So we're going to start disassembling this back end. Use a 7/16 crescent wrench or box end wrench. Unscrew the male fitting off of here. You'll have an O-ring right there. And then out of the back, you will get the spring, the small piston, and the reg seat. The reg seats are very durable. They very rarely need to be replaced. But in case you have reg creep issues where the pressure slowly builds, that's what's probably causing it. Is either debris or dirt inside this housing, or this reg seat is damaged. Now, sometimes you get lucky when you go to separate this and you can use your 7/16 wrench and unscrew this, and this rear housing will come off instead of this cap, which will make it easier to disassemble. Other times, like here, you get the male pipe fitting off and this housing is stuck on the back with very little to grab. So I have a special tool. It's just a couple of bolts and nuts that works for getting Palmer's parts apart that do not have slots on them to easily remove them. This is a, let's see if I got my measurements right, 3/8 24 threaded bolt and two nuts, and this is a lock washer. So the way you use this to get these parts apart is you thread the bolt into this back section here, and these nuts are 9/16. So you tighten down the first one onto the body. Use another 9/16 wrench to tighten down the second nut to the first one, like so. So now this piece here is tightened to this part, which you want to get off, and then this nut is tightened to this nut, so it's not going to allow that to move or swivel. Usually they're loose enough that you can just take a piece of rubber and grip the front half, and then you use a wrench to unscrew the back end, and that'll separate from the body like that. Other times, if this is too tight and you can't get it loose by just gripping this with rubber, you can put this in a vise with a rubber strap or a leather strap or something so it doesn't get scratched. Or you can make a separate tool just like this and screw it into the front side of the LPR housing here and use two wrenches to undo them separately. So this has another O-ring on it, which I'm going to set that aside for now. And then the internals in here, you'll have the push plate, the spring, and the piston, which you can get out by usually just tapping on a table. Or if they don't want to come out, you can always push them out the front with an Allen key or a punch or something similar. But there is your assembly. Well, that's actually backwards. It should be like that. So, now to replace all the seals, get this back together. I'm going to start with the main piston here. Pull this one off. Set it aside. Replace it with a new 112 O-ring. Replace the rear housing seal. Set that one aside. This is a new 016 O-ring. It's an 016. And we're going to pull this one off of the pipe fitting. Set it aside. This is a new number 11, 011. There we go. Put the rear piston and reg seal back in. Reg seals are still available. You can buy them directly from Palmer's Pursuit. They also sell complete rebuild kits with all the seals that you'll need for this. From the factory, normally these regulators come with polyurethane seals in them because they're made for CO2 compliance, because CO2 does not like Buna seals. However, you can replace these with Buna like I've done here if you're just going to use it for a marker that's being used with compressed air. So that shouldn't be an issue. Now, for lube, Palmer's regs only use oil. This is Outlast oil, KC trouble free, same basic stuff. You do not want to use grease on these seals, just oil. So I'm going to drop your push plate in, drop the spring in, put a light coat of oil, that inner wall, and then oil the piston O-ring, and drop that in. To get it lined up, the easiest way I found, push everything upwards toward the top so that you can get that seated on the spring and then push it all down at the same time. It lines up nicely like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and put some oil on the 016 on the rig housing piece. Screw these parts together. Wipe off excess oil. You can tighten that down with your wrench if you want, or leave it loose so it's easier to get off next time. Now to get this tool out, what you do is just the reverse of the way you put it on. Hold on to this bottom one. Loosen the top nut first. And then you can just unscrew the bolt out of the back. And for the pipe fitting, a little bit of oil on the 011, number 11 O-ring here. A little bit of oil on the rake seat. And that just gets screwed in to the back. Tighten down with your 7/16 wrench. Wipe off any extra oil. And then put your adjustment screw back in the front. I like to leave the screws loose when I put them on a gun at first. That way it's not putting any pressure out. Makes it easier to test the gun, during your build process. So there you go. That is how to rebuild a Palmer's Micro Rock regulator. It's ready for its next adventure. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good day.